in an apple butter jar from Russell and Rob's. Good job. Do not cite the deep magic to me. I was there when it was written. To my channel, welcome to probably equal parts weekly vlog, reading vlog. Welcome to Monday. It's Monday. We are back in town. We went out of town this weekend for a family member's birthday party, which was very fun. And now we're back. And so I have a bunch of stuff that I need to get done. Chase did a lot of stuff last night while I was at work, and so that was really helpful. And so now I just have a couple of little things that I need to get done. One of which is I have a bunch of sourdough discard in my fridge that I want to work my way through. And so I have also strategically done a bunch of browning bananas that I want to get rid of, obviously, as well. So I'm gonna make some banana muffins. I have chocolate chips somewhere. And I'm gonna make some banana muffins this morning. I need to do the laundry, like looking around. What else? There's a bunch of little things that I want to get done throughout the apartment. We've been moved in for a month, and I'm still like settling in. There's still stuff that like needs to be unpacked. It's mostly just like we put it somewhere and I don't like it there and it needs to be moved. So I'm gonna work on that. That is my plan for this morning. I also want to get a good chunk of my Kindle Unlimited TBR done this week. So that is also something that I'll be focusing on, probably like while these muffins are baking or whatever, and just get a bunch of that done and taken care of. Because I'll see something that I like in the Kindle store, I'll see a TikTok about it, I'll see somebody talk about it, and I'll see that it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll just add it to my Kindle, and then they just sit there. So my TBR for this week is specifically books on my Kindle. First things first. Oh, I can't do this, I don't have butter. I need to go to the store and get butter so I can make these muffins. I'm gonna go to the store and get butter, and then I'm gonna make these muffins. So I guess that changes my order of operations. I'm gonna do the sheets. I guess I'm gonna start on the sheets and then go to the grocery store, and hopefully the dog doesn't freak out. He's going to, but whatever. Okay, I'm back, and the butter was buy one get one free, so I got 2 butters. And I'm ready to, I think I'm using 2 sticks for this anyways, so the butter will be used. But then I also got a sweet and sparkling water and some more Celsius, because I finally found my favorite flavor at the Jewel-Osco, and it's the peach mango green tea non-carbonated. So, and the washer is going. So, very successful morning so far, if I do say so myself. But now I am going to start the process of getting these muffins done. So I got the butter, melted it, and was ready to start baking when I realized that I did not have enough brown sugar. And so I've been working on a Target order, and I just added brown sugar to that. Hi guys. The animals are very interested in all of this. But I just added brown sugar to my Target order, so it'll be here in a couple of hours, and then we will get started on this whole baking thing. But in the meantime, I do have stuff I want to get done, but I want to take a break and relax. And so I'm starting my Kindle Unlimited TBR. So these are the books in my library that I want to read. And so it's a mixture of fantasy and rom-coms, because I think I'm gonna want some sort of palette cleanser between the books. So the first book that I want to read is like what I'm going to sit down and read right now is Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. And I read the first book, One Dark Window, and I finished it earlier this month, like last week. So I'm gonna read the second one and finish the duology. And then fantasy-wise, I have This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Mafi. I don't know if I'm going to prioritize that. I'm literally just going in order on my library. So I don't know if I'm going to prioritize that one, just because I think there's 4 books in that series. I'm not sure, but it's another series, and I think I have a couple like standalones and duologies. Then I have Heartless Hunter and Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. And so I have both of those. Don't know if that one's a duology or if it's like an ongoing series. But I do have the Crimson Moth series. And then I also have Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider on here as well. So many. So this is what I'm saying, like it's a problem. There's just so many of them on here. I also have The Curse of Ophelia by Nicole Platania. That one I think is like a random TikTok one where you swipe through the like scene and it's like find out what happens next when you read it, and so I just added it. So that scene looked good. And then I have Quicksilver, obviously, by Callie Hart. I don't know if the second book is out yet. I've heard conflicting things, and I'm interested to read it. That one's probably pretty high on my list just because I don't know if there's a second one to get trapped in the series. And then I have The Aspect of Essence by Samantha Amstutz, which is another TikTok one. So that is what I have fantasy-wise. And then for my rom-com palette cleanser, silly goofy, reading purely for enjoyment, I have the Vancouver Storm series, and I think I have books 1 and 2. So it's Behind the Net and The Fake Out, and these are hockey romances. You know what? And they're probably delightful, okay? And then I have Curve Into Forever by Julia Jarrett, and this I think is the 5th or the 6th book in the Vancouver Tridents series. I don't know why I have read so many sports romances set in Vancouver, or just Canada in general, but specifically Vancouver. There's the Vancouver Tridents, which is a baseball team, and then this one that I just said, the Vancouver Storm, which is a hockey team, and then there's another hockey series, the Vancouver Vipers, and I've read that one too, and I don't know why they're all in Vancouver, but this one is a baseball team, Curve Into Forever. That's on my list. And then another hockey one that I added like forever ago, I think this is a second book to another book that I read last year, or maybe earlier this year, but it's Shutout. It's a Rules of the Game novel by Avery Keelan. It's another hockey romance. Fun. Can you sing a theme? And then Attached at the Heart by Amelie Rhys. And that is it for my palette cleansers. Do I think I'm gonna read all of this week? No, I'm not crazy. Okay, I do have things that need to be done. I do have to go to work, but I've been in a real reading mood lately, and so I think I can get a bunch of these done. I think I can probably get 3 or 4 books read this week. So everybody wish me luck. I don't know. Also the problem, or it's not a problem, but like a factor into this is I don't know how long any of these are because they're on my Kindle. So I don't know if they're like 100 pages or if they're like 500 pages. So that also may play a role. I think Quicksilver is like actually kind of long. That is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to sit and read for a little bit, and then I will do some stuff around the house, and then I'll read, and then I'll bake my muffins, and then I'll read, and then I'm just gonna keep going like that for the rest of my life, and I'm gonna have a great time. It's after 3 and I finished making all my muffins, and I am 24% of the way through of 2 Twisted Crowns, and I'm really loving it. I think it's really interesting. This book, we completely change the narrator and the point of view. The entire first book is told from Elspeth's perspective, and then this book we have multiple POVs. We have Elm, Elspeth, and Raven, which I think is really interesting. Also, there's characters in this book that play a bigger role than they did in the last book actively. Like they were present and they almost haunted the narrative in the last book, but this book, like, they're here and they're in the scenes and they're everything's happening. But having a great time. I need to clean the kitchen and take the dog out, and then I'll get back to reading. But I also took apart all of my Legos. and put them in these little bags because they've just been sitting in a pile of like tiny little Lego creations, and I don't want them, like I don't want to display them, and I didn't know what to do with them. And then Chase said that you can download the instructions online, so I just put them into 2 bags, and then I'm gonna give them, I'm either gonna give them to Chase's like in-laws kids, or I'm just gonna donate them to Goodwill, or I'm gonna put them in a drawer and I guess play with them whenever I feel like it. I don't have to have toys in my house because I don't have children that come here. But anyways, they are dealt with, and that is one more thing off of this set of drawers right here that I need to clear off so that I can get rid of them. I'm gonna clean and take the dog out, and then I'm gonna get back to reading. Good morning and welcome to Tuesday. A lot going on. So yesterday I finished 2 Twisted Crowns. Didn't think I was gonna finish it in one day, but I pretty much just read all day. I didn't really want to do anything else. So finished 2 Twisted Crowns. I did all the laundry. I made the bed. I folded all the laundry that needed to be folded. Got all of that done. And then I started Attached at Hart, which was another one on my TBR, and I'm 15% of the way through with this one. And so 2 Twisted Crowns, I probably gave about 4 stars, 3.5, 4 stars. I've been very like kind of willy-nilly with my ratings lately. Ratings, when I write a book, it means nothing. It means nothing. It's spur of the moment. It's not based on anything. But I'd probably give 2 Twisted Crowns 3.5, 4 stars. I really liked it. I obviously read it in one day. I like just didn't want to put it down. I thought it was super interesting how in book 1, this is like maybe a little spoilery, but in book 1 we had Elspeth and Nightmare like were our main characters, but even Nightmare, like we didn't get his point of view. We only really got Elspeth's point of view. She was always with Nightmare, and then we saw like Raven and Ione and Elm and Jesper and like everybody else. We just saw them through Elspeth's eyes. But in book 2, Elspeth is now like taking a back seat, and so we're seeing everything through Nightmare's, Raven's, Elm's eyes, which I think is super interesting. I thought it was like, I feel like you don't really get that a lot in second books. Like a lot of time in the second book or in the rest of the series, it's still the same main character and we're going through the same thing. But I also thought it was super interesting because we were able to switch and get multi-POVs. We were able to get more of a POV on Elm and Ione developing as the main couple of the second book. So it wasn't just continuing on like most fantasy series, ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, whatever, continuing on with our main character and her love interest. We kind of switch and like they're established, they exist, they're done. And then we switch over to our new relationship that's developing. So I thought that was really fun that we got to read that as well. I really enjoyed it. I thought the magic system was super interesting. It's just different from like other magic systems. It's not like an innate, you're born with that magic, but it is at the same time. I just thought it was interesting the way that the cards played a role and what they became, and like kind of learning about the cards and learning about how the Shepherd King made the cards as well, like getting a lot more of his backstory and how he became what he is, because the Shepherd King was kind of loved by all in the first book, and then the second book you see like how he came from the Shepherd King to the Nightmare and like what happened. So also I thought it was interesting the reason behind the Shepherd King's fall with his sister and Brutus and everything. I thought that was interesting, and it wasn't just like a claim for power. It was a claim for power, but there was also a motive behind it. So very good read. And so we're gonna see today if I can finish Attached at Heart in one day. This one is a marriage of convenience book, obviously. Our 2 main characters, Delaney and Blake, are cardiologists, and they have been best friends through med school, through their residency up until this point. Our female main character, Delaney, was engaged, and our male main character, Blake, left their position at the Mayo Clinic and moved to Boston, where he started a new position at a new hospital as a cardiologist. And then Delaney's engagement got called off, and so she moved to Boston as well. But after Blake moved to Boston, they didn't really talk to each other for, it was like 10 months or a year, something like that. So I just read them re-meeting for the first time and like catching up, and Blake is in love with Delaney. It's very obvious. Literally the first page is a flashback from like 10 years ago, and he is in depth talking about how much he loves her. So Blake is in love with Delaney and kind of moved to get away from that, like to get away from her engagement. He thought it was too fast. He didn't like that it was in him, obviously, so he was trying to like move on. And then she's here and she's like telling him that the engagement was fake and that it was a marriage of convenience because she has to be married for 1 year before she can get her family's inheritance, and she has plans for this inheritance, so she needs it. And so Blake is like, well, just marry me. Now in chapter 5, Blake is coming to terms with the fact that he is going to fake marry the woman that he loves. So she has to move in and they have to like do everything, and it's gonna be the trope. And I at first was a little questionable about this. I don't remember where I heard about this book. And a lot of times if I just hear about a book on TikTok or if I pick it out on Kindle Unlimited, it's not great. It's not the best. Sometimes the writing leaves a lot to be desired. Sometimes the plot leaves a lot to be desired. Sometimes it's just, you know, the synopsis is really good and the book's not. So I was a little nervous about this one, but I think it's going to hold up. It's going to be goofy and ridiculous because it's Marriage of Convenience. It's also the 3rd book in the series, and I think it's a football romance series. Because he has a brother who plays football, and I'm pretty sure the last book was about them. But I only really care about this book, I think. So I'm gonna drink my coffee, which is in an apple butter jar from Russell & Rob's, which is a shop in Fredericksburg, because I just haven't taken the label off yet. So I'm gonna drink my coffee and I'm going to read for a little bit. Oh, more things going on. Taylor Swift announced her 12th studio album this morning. It's literally, I woke up to a text from my friend with a link to the TikTok that New Heights posted, and her caption, my friend texted me and said TS12 before GTA 6. I had barely opened my eyes. I opened my eyes and I looked at my notifications and I saw a text from her and I was like, what? And I clicked on it. The Life of the Showgirl is coming out. I don't know when. I don't know the date. I didn't even get that far. But The Life of the Showgirl is coming out. She announced it on the New Heights podcast that comes out tomorrow. So they announced it on the preview for the New Heights podcast that comes out tomorrow. So I guess there's going to be a lot more information going on. I will say, I do enjoy the New Heights podcast. I don't think I've ever listened to a full episode, but I do like the little clips that I get. But I will be listening to the full episode. Anything for Taylor Swift. But in the clip, Jason reacted appropriately, which I appreciate. Even if he doesn't care, he was thrilled, and I appreciate that he's supporting his sister-in-law and also me in this excitement. So shout out Jason Kelsey. I'm excited to see The Life of the Showgirl. I feel like that's such a fun theme, and I don't know, she hasn't released the album art yet. It's going to be orange was the Easter egg that we got yesterday, and the Easter egg that was in the release thing. But I think that's a fun theme. I wonder what genre it's gonna be, because to me I'm thinking that new Pamela Anderson movie with the dancers in Vegas, that kind of showgirl. But I don't know, maybe she's gonna do an old Hollywood kind of theme, because she did oh my god, what's that song? She did that song. That is super exciting. Also, less exciting but relevant to me, I started watching The Summer I Turned Pretty last week because of TikTok, because I'm seeing all of these TikToks about Belly and Jeremiah getting married, and Connor being in love with Belly. I know a lot that happens in this series because of TikTok and because I don't care about being spoiled about this specific thing, but I was like, I just need to know why she's with Jeremiah and not Conrad. And I think, I mean, I was team Jeremiah. No. I was team Conrad from the TikToks, and then I am on like episode 4 or 5 of the first season, and I'm still team Conrad because I can see the progression of like him being kind of a dick in the beginning to having a character arc to not being a dick at the end. Spoilers, I guess, for season 1 that came out 3 years ago. In the beginning, I assumed that Conrad was acting standoffish and assholey because he either knew that his mom had cancer or he knew that his dad had cheated, or both, because these are things that I knew happened. And so I was assuming that he was just pissy because he knew these things, and he's 17 and like that's a lot for a 17-year-old to handle, and then he was gonna kind of like get over it, and then him and Belly were gonna get together. I don't know. I'm not really team Jeremiah. He's super immature in my opinion. I know he's younger. I think they're like 17, 16, 15 or something like that, or like 18, 16, 15. Belly just turned 16. I know that. And then Conrad is going into college, so he's 17, 18, 19 in there. But anyways, I think it's ridiculous. I'm watching the show and I just like think everything is so ridiculous. I feel like Susanna's character, I know she's still alive, but everything about her kind of gives flashback to like the artsy, carefree, wild wife, which I know like kind of is Susanna's character. She's a painter. She is very carefree, you know, she loves these summers at the beach, like I get it, but it feels very like flashback in a movie. She's already dead, and the things that she's saying and doing and the way that she's treating Belly, I don't know, it's just the vibe that like she feels like she was written as a flashback and not as like a living, dying person. So I don't know. Belly is ridiculous. She's also 16. Okay, I feel like she is 16. The writing, the acting, you can tell she's 16. You can tell. Jeremiah, I just don't love, but I'm gonna keep watching it. We'll see if it wins me over, because right now my favorite part of this show is the amount of Taylor Swift songs that they play. But good morning, welcome to Tuesday. I'm gonna see if I can read the rest of this book today. If I go to the gym, we'll see. I do have other things I need to get done. It's a very chill day. It's a very go Taylor Swift day. I am about to go work out. I just spent the past like 2 hours reading, and I am now 47% of the way through of this book, and I am really liking it. It's very tropey. It's just very tropey. There's only one bed. Of course, there's just like awkward moments that they've encountered. Of course, just making everything even more awkward, just bringing feelings to light. Obviously, it's not like, I don't want to say cheesy. It's not super cheesy. It's just very like tropey. It's very like, it's very goofy rom-com. So I am really enjoying it, but I am gonna go work out and take a break. I just fed the dog, so the animals are gonna be making a lot of noise, but it is Tuesday evening. I finished the book I was reading, Attached at Hart, which bothers me. I feel like it should be Attached at the Heart, but whatever. Attached at Hart. Finished it in less than 24 hours. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. I thought it was a little tropey, but I felt like it was like the tropes were needed for the book. Like, it's an arranged marriage. They go on their fake honeymoon and something happens and their Airbnb gets canceled, and now there's only one bed. And originally they don't share the bed, but then they do. And then there's all these like weird situations and silly, goofy things that happen that put them in these like weird, awkward situations, and they're forced to kind of evaluate their feelings for each other and how the other person feels for them. And so I just thought it was super cute. I just thought it was cute and fun. It's a series. I don't know if I'm gonna read the books in the series. I don't know that I really care about any of them. They were just like fun background characters to have. I don't really care about their relationships at all. So I don't know if I'm gonna read it. But I am gonna read Quicksilver by Callie Hart next. And I know nothing about this book. I think I might have read a synopsis at one time, maybe, but even then I'm not sure. So I know nothing about this book at all, but that's okay, that's fun, that's exciting. It's a fantasy, it's a romantasy, I'm pretty sure. So it's not like I'm not gonna like it. I mean, it really takes a lot for me to straight up not like a book. Even if I don't think it's like the best book I've ever read or even like good, I'm still probably going to be entertained and I'm still probably gonna have a good time. So I'm gonna start Quicksilver, book 1 of 2. Okay, I don't know if it's book 1 of 2 that are out or if it's book 1 of 2 as in it's a duology, but love a map. That is not focusing. Oh, there it goes. I'm gonna read that, I think, for the rest of the night. Chase is picking up a friend, and then I think we're just gonna hang out here for the rest of the night. I am making sourdough tomorrow, so I do need to feed my starter so that it's ready for tomorrow. I'm gonna make 2 loaves. I'm gonna make a plain sourdough loaf, and I'm gonna do fig and hot honey, which I saw on TikTok and I wanted to try. So I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. I always get nervous when I try new flavored loaves, especially if it's not a flavor that I typically eat. Like I did a garlic and rosemary loaf. Obviously I know I was gonna like it, but fig and hot honey, I'm nervous. What if I don't like it? It's gonna be fine. Hello and welcome to Wednesday. I've had a, I don't know, productive, busy morning. I got a lot done before I picked up the camera. It's also like 3 o'clock, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it's 2:30. So my bread, my sourdough is on its bulk proof right now. I need to go to the grocery store. Bo has his goose. It's okay, guys. I need to go to the grocery store and get the fig preserves and hot honey, and I have a couple other things I need to grab as well, so I'll probably do that in a bit. I washed my hair, I read a little bit. I am 10% of the way through Quicksilver. I'm on chapter 5. I think I'm gonna like it the way that I like most romantasies. In the first 5 chapters, nothing special, nothing important, nothing different or new or exciting really has happened. She's a poor thief, a pickpocket. She lives in the slums. There's dust. It's like a dusty, dry, hot environment. There's water rations, and magic users are not allowed, pretty much is what happened. And she has these secret magic powers that haven't been explained yet, that are going to be explained probably like halfway through, and she is like able to fight really well, which everybody's like, how did you learn how to fight like that? And it's like a really big deal, and that's what's happened so far. It's just like so many other books. I feel like part of the reason I liked the One Dark Window duology is it was a little bit different. Our main character wasn't a pickpocket from the slums. She did have a secret, obviously they have to, but she came from a different background. I feel like it just makes it different from the rest of the books. So I don't know, I am excited to see how it goes. There's an immortal queen, which is interesting. I'm sure there's some horrible reason why she's immortal, and I don't know if it's like a Maeve thing, like Throne of Glass type of thing or what, but she mentioned Fae. So I don't know if there's gonna be like a doorway type of thing, which also happened in Throne of Glass. They all really, even, there's so many books where they like straight up steal other authors' plot lines, but then there's just so many tropes that they're all the same at the end. All of the books are the same. But I'm gonna keep reading. I do need to go to the grocery store though. I don't want to, but I need to. But I don't want to. But I'm going to, and get a couple of things so that way whenever my bread is ready, or my bulk proof is done, I can continue working on my bread. I think I'm gonna bake the fig and hot honey loaf tonight, and then I'll bake the regular loaf tomorrow when I get home from work. I think that's my plan. I think that's my plan, so I don't have to worry about, I don't want to bake them together because I don't want the flavors to overlap, and I don't want to deal with it, so I think I'll just do one tonight and one tomorrow. And that'll be that. Oh, also, I've continued watching Summer I Turned Pretty. I'm on, I think, the second to last episode of season 1. And so, I don't know how I feel. I think that this love triangle is gonna get like way more complicated than I feel like it needs to be, but I also don't really have the patience for a love triangle. So, I don't know, we'll see. But I don't know. I feel like I haven't read the books. I have not read the books. I don't know. But I feel like Jeremiah kind of came out of nowhere. I feel like Jeremiah decided that he liked Belly because Conrad liked Belly. And in the scene where he's saying like, oh, you always liked Conrad and then you liked Cameron and like, when is it my turn? I feel like he was literally just waiting for a turn. You know, like it wasn't like, oh, I really like her. Like he was just waiting for her to like him and him to like have a turn. I don't know, I just didn't like it. And then I don't really see the appeal of him. Conrad is being a little baby and he is being whiny and annoying, but also he is he's like actively traumatized. Presumably he knows about his dad's cheating based on how he's treating his dad, and he also knows his mom has cancer, so like he's going through it. So like that's why he's acting like that. I think Jeremiah is just a little whiny baby. I don't know. I don't see the appeal for either of them, really. And there's a lot of drama, obviously. I don't know, we'll see. Also, Susanna is kind of weird, but I don't like, I feel like she's trying to orchestrate this. I know she's trying to orchestrate this whole like perfect summer, this perfect thing, like seeing Belly in a white dress before she dies or whatever. It's just like, she's really not leaving much up to chance. She's doing it exactly the way she wants. She's not thinking about Belly at all. And Belly is also 16. So I feel like that's an important thing to keep at the front of your mind, is that she's like a child. I don't know. I'm gonna keep watching it. I'm just not obsessed with it. I want to read. I want to get to the plot of this book. I want to get to figure out like what is going on, because I don't know. I don't know the plot of this book at all. I don't know what the magic system is. I don't know what the like big drama is. I don't remember. I don't know if I've ever read the synopsis actually. I think I might have just added this to my Kindle Unlimited library because of all of the hype it got on TikTok. So we'll see. Stink. Bulldog. What are you doing? Bulldog, what are you doing? What's up, Stink? Welcome to Thursday. First things first, I listened to the New Heights podcast featuring Taylor Swift, and I loved every second of it. I don't know the last time she's given an interview that was that long. Like, I feel like she talked a lot, and I feel like the questions also were really good. Jason asked some really good questions, and I appreciate that. And it's just so obvious that both Jason and Travis really respect her as a person, as an artist, as a girlfriend, whatever, which is like really huge, because I feel like a lot of interviewers don't always respect the person. They kind of do what they need to do. They kind of do what they need to do for views versus like for the artist. But I really liked it. I was giggling the whole time. I thought it was super cute. I really enjoyed it. I'm really excited for the life of a showgirl. I'm excited that it's gonna be a glitter pen pop album. That I'm super excited for. I'm excited for some good, happy pop songs. Even if they're not all happy, like good, catchy pop songs. I'm excited. I'm ready. I have a reading update. I am 73% of the way through Quicksilver. Very exciting. I very quickly got to the plot of the book when she went through the Quicksilver to the Fae world, and I've read a lot of fantasies, I've read a lot of fae, fairy, fantasies, romanticities. I knew what was gonna happen. I haven't really, you cannot squeak this. If I give this to you, you cannot squeak this. He's gonna squeak it. I knew that Kingfisher and Ceres were gonna be a thing. I knew it. I have a feeling, I haven't gotten there yet, but I have a feeling it's gonna be some sort of mating bond. They can conveniently talk to each other like mind to mind. Okay, this is not my first rodeo. I'm not new here. I read ACOTAR in like 2015, okay? I do not cite the deep magic to me. I was there when it was written, okay? So, while yes, I am enjoying myself, I also can find a pattern and I can understand what's gonna happen. So, I don't know, I've been really enjoying myself. I was a little nervous in the beginning because I just feel like the beginning is a tale as old as time, and I was just like, okay, like, what is this gonna be? But I feel like the magic is different enough. The concept of the Quicksilver is different enough. The concept of her being an alchemist and like learning how to talk to the Quicksilver, I feel like is what is going to set this book apart, is the magic system. And I am enjoying the new magic system. Is Kingfisher the broody shadow daddy? Yes. Okay, yes. Okay, us readers are simple girls. It's worked 80 bajillion times, why not this time? So that one I was a little like, okay, here we go. But he has to, he's brooding and he hates everything and he's so dramatic and like, you know the type. So obviously he can't be like light and happy, he has to have shadows. So it fits. I like that this is, I don't know about Kingfisher's side, and obviously if she ends up being his mate, it's a little different, but it feels like a true enemies to lovers. She really did hate him. And even 73% of the way through, I don't think she's much farther past that. She's starting to see different sides of him and who he was before the exile, and that's kind of starting to loosen her up a little bit. But she really hated him, and their banter was like, even if she's his mate and like that's their whole thing that they've got going on, he was not happy with the situation. He was not happy that they were mated or fated or whatever. If they are mates or whatever, or fated or whatever, he didn't want that, and that's obvious. He doesn't like her, and she hates him. She hates him. And their banter really truly is like so obvious of that, I feel like. And I really like that, because I feel like a lot of times when it's enemies to lovers and there's banter, it's like flirting. But this time, yes, it was flirting, obviously, but I just felt a little bit more stemming from hatred than stemming from like dislike and also attraction. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm just dreaming and like reading into things, but I like to think that, and so that's what I'm gonna think. It's almost more Carden and Jude, where they really truly do hate each other in the beginning, and then they start to evolve and develop and become something new. So, huge fan of that. My oven is ready. I'm baking my second loaf of sourdough. I made my fig preserve and hot honey loaf yesterday, and all of it just leaked out. There was no seal on the bread. I couldn't get it to seal. It was just seeping out, and so when it baked, it all leaked out. And so it's edible, but it's like there's a hint of a flavor. There's no like real fig preserves or hot honey in the loaf, and it's like kind of burnt on the bottom. I don't know. It's probably the worst loaf I've ever made, but it wasn't a complete failure. It is edible, so I don't know. I'll probably do some research before I try again and figure out how to do a loaf that wet. But I am enjoying this 73% of the way through. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it tonight. I don't know what my plans are for tonight, but I'll definitely finish it tonight or tomorrow. And then I don't know what my next book's gonna be. I should probably plan. Let's see. I think for the sake of this vlog, if I finish Kingfisher, or not Kingfisher, if I finish Quicksilver, then I will start Curve Into Forever, because that series, the Vancouver Tridents, I read all of those like super fast. They're super quick reads. So just boom, 5th book done. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I thought I was going to. A lot of times going into these huge TikTok, book talk phenomenons, I kind of have my guard up and I have my doubts, but this one is enjoyable. I don't think it's anything revolutionary. Obviously, there's so many things that I've seen in so many other series, but it's things that work, and it's things that make the series interesting, and it's things that make you want to keep reading. So I appreciate that. Also, Carrion, I think is how you say his name, I really was worried when he showed up. In the beginning, I was like, okay, hee ha ha, like a Gaston kind of character is what the vibe I was getting. Is like there always has to be the guy from before. And then he showed up again and I was like, okay, like what are we doing? But it's kind of like nice to play her off of a human instead of just her off of all of these fae. There's kind of a level playing field between the two of them, which I just was unexpected to like him. I wasn't expecting that, but I do enjoy him being there, and I do want to see where he goes, because I think it's interesting that he knows so much about fae, and he was taking this all in stride because he was like, well, yeah, like I was trained for this. So I think that's interesting, and I am interested to see what happens to him and like how his character develops. Hello, welcome to Friday. It's almost 7:30 p.m. and this is the first time I've picked up my camera today, but I had to work this morning. There was nothing to film, but I did finish Quicksilver and I did enjoy it. Shocker, I enjoyed it. I will say I am proud of myself. I picked up on a couple of things and I had a couple of thoughts that ended up panning out. So between last night and today reading, I thought it was kind of interesting that we started in the original realm of like heat and sand and dust, and then she goes through the Quicksilver pool and she ends up at the castle, I think it is, or like stronghold or whatever, of the Fae King, and then she leaves that behind and she ends up in a whole different war, like whole different setting with this war against vampires. And I was just like, I feel like there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Like, are we gonna deal with the vampires now, or are we gonna deal with something now and then like move on, or what? And then it ended up being all of it at the same time. So shout out me for having somewhat, I did not predict that the three of them were gonna be like some triumvirate or whatever, but I did have like some like beginnings of a thought. Also, Carrion knowing what was going on, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but Carrion knowing what was going on because he's the lost heir. I did not think he was the lost heir. I think they mentioned it like one time in the book and I did not give it any thought after that. I was just like, oh, okay. And then whenever somebody said he smelled weird or something like that, and I was like, I bet he's like half fae or something like that. No, he's full fae. He is the lost heir. And so that was funny. And not funny, but like I was just sort of like, okay. And I really liked him in the beginning. I don't even know how to say the name of the original realm with like the sand and everything. In the beginning, in the tavern, when we meet him the first time, I was just like, okay, whatever. And then they brought him and I was like, oh no, it's this guy. But I think I really liked him, and I'm glad it wasn't her brother that they brought, because her brother also annoyed me. So big fan. Obviously saw the mating bond coming like a mile away. I think the concept of the tattoos is really interesting, and of course they're like ultimate mating end boss couple, because of course they are. But I mean, I saw that coming a mile away. But I did enjoy the the lead up to it, and I did enjoy the, I feel like the acceptance of it was kind of like anticlimactic. They both kind of did it as like a second thought, and then they were like, oh yeah, like I guess I did accept that. But I just felt like it was like a little anticlimactic. Like it was just sort of like, oh yeah, by the way, like I guess I'm cool with this. But there was a lot going on, so I'll give them a pass. The ending was a lot. I didn't really predict any of it. I did have a feeling that it was going to be some sort of Archeron Sisters in the Cauldron type of thing, or she was going to have some sort of fae heritage, and so like she would live a long life or like become immortal somehow. So like I wasn't completely shocked when she woke up and she was like half fae. I was not expecting the half vampire though, so that is interesting, and I wonder how that will happen. What's gonna happen there? Also, now she's Queen of the Vampires, Carrion is the rightful heir to the Fae, and then Kingfisher is like Lord of his area. So I don't know what's gonna happen in the next book. I'm assuming they're gonna go after the king in Madra, but I don't know. Because then they also said that their lives were tied together, so you have to kill all three of them to kill one of them, but they killed Malcolm. Also, it really took me out of it for the vampires named Malcolm. I really enjoyed the story, but it had a very current, relevant, popular style of writing, where it sounded like it was people in the real world in real life speaking. They said quick notes, or not quick notes, they said cliff notes at one time. I was like, what? And then she was freaking out about something, and he goes, are you gonna have a heart attack? And I was like, I just feel like there's a lot of things that were a little too modern day, where I was like, okay. And it would like take me out for a second. Malcolm was one of them, where I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, but I did enjoy it. I did like it. So now I am going to rank all of the books I read this week, because I did not start Curve into Forever. I just didn't have time. Today I read this week Two Twisted Crowns, Attached at Heart, and Quicksilver. So 3 books, not bad. I think my least favorite, or I know my least favorite of the 3, or like my bottom of the pyramid, is definitely Attached at Heart. It was cute. It was cute. It was a marriage of convenience, rom-com. The characters were likable. The plot was easy to follow, wasn't too crazy. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. Good time. Least favorite of the 3. I think I'm gonna put Quicksilver as number 2, just because there's a couple things that took me out of it a little bit, and then the ending, I didn't see the ending coming, but I do kind of feel like we set up a lot at the ending that I don't know if I'm going to enjoy how it all pans out in the 2nd and 3rd book. Like, I feel like we kind of went really hard in the ending, and it makes me nervous. That makes me nervous. I'm nervous it's gonna be another 4th Wing, because I really liked 4th Wing, and then we just kept doing too much, and then it lost me. I haven't finished Onyx Storm. I can't do it. I don't care anymore. Too much is going on. Which puts Two Twisted Crowns as number 1, which I really enjoyed. Two Twisted Crowns. I really enjoyed the Shepherd King series, duology in general. The magic system I thought was really interesting. The writing style is really beautiful. It was like a gothic fantasy with romantic elements. I don't even think I would call it a romantasy, even though we do have 2 prevalent romance plot lines. I feel like there was just enough going on the actual plot outside of the romance that I wouldn't consider it like a romance heavy fantasy. But I really did like Two Twisted Crowns. I liked the switch up between One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, the switch up of POVs, the kind of change in plot, how everything kind of came together, the parallels of the Shepherd King story and Elspeth's and Rowan's and Elm's, like our current day story. I really liked Two Twisted Crowns, so I think that's gonna be my number one. I don't know what my next read's gonna be. I don't know, I'm kind of digging this Kindle Unlimited TBR thing, so I might just do the same video next week, maybe not as reading heavy, but still continuing to read my TBR, because I do want to read, I think it was Swing Into Forever was what it was called, the baseball romance that I have.